when it comes down to like the thing that I love to do, it's understanding breakthrough strategies and how to help somebody by creating a climate and an environment that creates a breakthrough for them. And that can mean so many different things in so many different aspects of life.
Hey, welcome to a podcast where dreams meet determination and success is just around the corner. I'm your host, Suzanne Taylor-King, and I'm here to help you unlock the full potential of your business and your life. Welcome to Unlock Your Way with STK. Let's unlock your path to success together. Good morning, everyone. It's Suzanne Taylor-King here with Rob Z Wentz, and I'm really excited for this question he posed to me this morning. Are you being inconsistent with where you're at and what you're doing and where you want to go with your goals? He's the coach for you. And I love the fact that you described it with a question. Let's dig into that today.
I would love to.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Total transparency. We had incredible rapport when we first connected, immediately understanding each other's journeys, not only with podcasting and community, the online space, and the fact that you just got married was really your pictures were incredible. And it was just really a great connection point for us. And I love connecting with entrepreneurs who are passionate about what you do. So let's talk a little bit about who you serve and what you actually do with them.
I would love to. Thank you, Suzanne, for the wonderful introduction. So as far as who I serve, this is something that I've had this conversation so many times. It's like, pick a niche, pick who's the niche, who's the person you're supposed to be working with. I have always seen like, who am I supposed to be working with it was me, the version of me like 7 years ago, who's trying to figure out their entrepreneur journey, right? As far as an individual, figuring out my own self-leadership. So the self-leadership leading into how do I lead a team? If I can't lead myself, I can't lead a team. And then how do I become the expert at what I do, the expert in my field? So when I'm working with somebody or working with a team, I'm always just looking for the essence of there's this desire for more. Like they are somewhere in their life right now, but they know they're destined for more in their life or their business. And that could mean many different things, right? But there's that feeling and that drive, like, I know I need to get somewhere. I know I need to have this breakthrough. Yes. And I can't seem to figure out, like, how do I make this breakthrough happen, right? So when it comes down to, like, the thing that I love to do, it's understanding breakthrough strategies and how to help somebody by creating a climate and an environment that creates a breakthrough for them. And that can mean so many different things in so many different aspects of life. But if I can help you find that breakthrough, that's what I want to do. And that's what I would love to do, because I love doing that for myself, because it just gives you so much freedom in your life. And boiling it down to one person is impossible, because I just love helping people do that.
It is. And, we could have a whole hour-long discussion on, to niche or not to niche, right? But what I want to pull out of what...
Or how to say it. Is it niche or niche? Also,
I don't know. Niche reminds me of itch, so I always say niche. I took French in high school, so that's kind of where I go.
Okay.
Not that it matters. What I want to pull out is the fact that self-awareness. You had to be aware of your own journey in order to break that down. What does it look like in order to help other people? Say a little bit about that.
I've always felt like I was way too self-aware, right? So I've always felt growing up like, could I just not be as aware as I am of myself? It would be great. It would be great to be delusional.
You can kind of turn off or something.
Gosh, I would just love to be totally unaware of me. It would be such a freedom sometimes. Although everything's a gift and a curse, right? So throughout my life, that really seemed like a curse. But I realized as I get older what a gift it is to be so aware. Because it can be very painful, but also as you start to own it. So it's like, I have no choice but to work on myself. I have no choice, but I have to get better because I can't stand who I am right now. That sort of thing. As I was growing up, like that was kind of like, I don't like being like this. So I need to figure me out. And so the more I figure me out, the better I am. Me compared to me 7 years ago, world of difference. But also it's interesting, right? Because I feel like it's like reverse narcissism in the sense that like, I was never narcissistic in the sense of like I had a overly bombastic personality. It was the opposite of like, it was overly critical, overly judgmental of myself, but it was all about me, right? So understanding I don't have to be so concentrated on me. And the more I focus on other people and help other people and think about them and how I can serve them, I don't have to worry about me as much because it's not about me. And so speaking of what your question was, is kind of that, like, how do we get past ourselves and how do we turn our life into a life of service? So I have two things that I like to say that I do. I serve people and I prepare to serve people. Those are the two things I do. So if I'm serving somebody, if I'm with somebody, then I'm serving them. And if I'm not with anybody, then I should be spending my time preparing to serve them. And that looks like bettering myself, becoming a better human being, and learning, growing, connecting, right? And as I'm doing those things, that's going to prepare me to be able to serve people better. But if I'm stuck in my head all day long, then I'm not helping anybody. Nobody's benefiting from that.
Yeah. Well, I love this so much because before we hit live today, we were talking a little bit about me creating from a space of what I would want to buy versus creating what I think my niche or ideal client would spend money on.
Yeah.
And it's such a different place of creativity and ideas, and it's just a different space to be in when you're in that type of service. And I applaud this about you because you really created a community that people you would want to be a part of instead of, how can I sell this to 100,000 people and retire?
Right.
It wasn't created from that space, which was intriguing to me. But let's go back to the self-awareness piece. You said you always had it. You developed it. You became more aware of it. And not from that critical, Rob, you're bad space, but from the how can I learn from this, grow, and use that to serve other people.
I think when you're so stuck in yourself, I couldn't stand it. I just couldn't stand always being concerned about me. It would just drive me nuts. So how did I have to create past that? What did I have to do? I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know, who am I supposed to be learning from? How am I supposed to figure this thing out? Because I didn't have anybody like in my life who could necessarily speak to that. And I didn't even know how to say it, right?
Right.
So I'm just going to take you on a little journey, I guess, is what we'll do.
Okay.
I spent 20 years in radio broadcasting, right? So most of my life was spent in radio broadcasting, talking to nobody and everybody all at once. I couldn't see anybody. Nobody's in front of me, but I'm just talking into a microphone.
You do have a great voice for radio.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And people say I have a great face also for radio. I've heard that before.
I love that joke, by the way.
Oh, it never gets old. It's such an easy one. It's just it's a softball layup. So in radio, this was always my struggle, was like there was a version of me inside of me that I didn't know how to get out, right? So I did not know how to get this person out of me. And it was like the person that I am now is this person that was like in here that I didn't know how to do. And so for many years, it's like I was faking it throughout my life of like I was trying to be what I felt like I was supposed to be instead of just being myself. And I'm still learning how to just be myself. But my ex-wife at one point said during my while I was in radio, she's like, when you talk to people on the phone when you're on the radio, you sound like Rob, but when you're just talking on the radio, you turn on like this radio voice and you start talking like this. It's called puking in radio. That's called puking.
Oh, okay.
I was like this puker, and then I was like, oh wow, that's interesting. So I'd listen back to myself and I'd hear, wow, yeah, when I talk to people, I'm just talking to them, but when it's just me, I put on this show.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I'm actually kind of like having a revelation right now. So as I would do this in my own personal life, when I focused on other people, I was more of myself. When I was stuck just with me, I was like putting on this character of who I thought I was supposed to be. Right. So as halfway through my radio career, it like clicked and I was like, oh, I can just be me. And then as I started being me, people actually liked me. And like everything started to get better. My audience grew, my position grew, my financial situation grew. Everything started getting better. And I started to really excel at what I was doing. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I can just be me and people seem to like that. And so I'm like, what a shocker. And so then it started, so that correlates with like, well, so the more I get outside of myself and the more I start to just serve people and focus on them and build those relationships, then people like that. They naturally like that. But when I'm stuck in just my nonsense, nobody likes that. Nobody wants to be around me, including myself. And I think so many people could probably relate to that situation of being incongruent with this person that's in you that like it's talking to you all the time. That incongruency is talking to you all the time. Like you should be doing this, but you're doing this. Paul says it in the Bible. He says, I want to do the things that I know are right, but I don't do them. And I don't want to do the things that are wrong, but I keep doing them. And this is like a struggle with humanity. This is our struggle.
And it has been forever.
Forever it's been the struggle.
I'm a big fan of Stoic philosophy. And what you're describing is, I call myself a eudaimonologist because of exactly what we're talking about.
A eudaimonologist. What does that mean?
So your daimon is what you explained as that inner best version of you that wants to get out. And what prevents it from getting out is your demon. That negative voice in your head that's saying, you should be doing this. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not good looking enough. You're too old. Ooh.
Yeah.
And those two, it's the age-old battle of good and evil in your own head.
Yeah.
And what I love so much about eudaimonia, which the philosophers say that is the ultimate goal of being a human, to fulfill your potential, to become that best version of yourself and take that one step further, to have those habits and things that make you that best version of yourself be what you love to do. Well, that sounds a whole heck of a lot like positive psychology and fulfilling your passion and your purpose and all those things I'm so passionate about because I had to do that work on myself, which is exactly what you're saying.
And you have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to.
Well, you don't have to.
Your life's going to suck if you don't, though. It's going to be really hard. And you're going to run into a wall at some point in time, right?
Yes.
And you hear this so often. People run into this wall of like, I thought I was doing the right thing. I always think of Jim Carrey. He always says that quote, I hope everybody gets everything they've always wanted in their life, to realize that's not what they actually wanted or needed. That wasn't the answer. I think about that. It's like, because we always chase after what we've been trained to think that we want or need, and that's not actually it. So I always go to, and I ask people this question all the time. One of my favorite questions to ask people, what did you want to be whenever you were 10 years old? Because at 10 years old, you were old enough to know what you really just naturally loved. And you were young enough that the world hadn't come in and forced you into some sort of box.
Yeah.
And I love that space because for me, I wanted to be a radio DJ, did it. and a professional wrestler also did it for 6
You
months
did?
when I was 19. Yeah, it was
Oh gosh.
not good. It was not something. I have some photos, but that's about it.
Well, I think I'm going to need to see those now.
Yeah, I could probably dig them up while we're talking. What did you want to be when you were 10 years old?
I wanted to be a wildlife photographer and go to Africa and photograph animals.
Okay, did you ever do it in any way, shape, or
No,
form?
and so much so that I stopped taking pictures. I literally stopped until my son was born, and we're talking he wasn't born till I was 41. So that's a long time not taking pictures. I would be in pictures, but I wouldn't physically take pictures.
Wait, hold on. So because you knew you weren't going to chase that, you
I was
stopped taking
told I
photos altogether.
couldn't. I was
You were
told
4
I
years
couldn't.
old? Oh,
Was told I couldn't. You know, it was one of those childhood beliefs. And photography was very expensive when I was 10 years old because
right.
I'm old. So there was buying the film, developing the film. There was no, digital stuff. Now you
Yeah.
can take pictures all day long on your phone and they're great. It wasn't like that then. So I was told, no, that's too expensive for us to do. You can't do that. And that just made me kind of rebel against taking pictures. Oh, well, if I can't do it, I can't do it. I'm not going to do it at all type of thinking. And I didn't discover that until I was like 41. My son was born and I'm taking all kinds of pictures of him. And my husband says to me, "This is the first time I've ever seen you take pictures." And I was like, oh, wonder where that's from. And just a little self-exploration led to, it's because that's what I wanted to do for a living and I couldn't do it.
And so it was never a conscious thing. It was
No.
like unconscious.
No.
Interesting.
Totally unconscious. But, a little self-discovery, self-exploration, which, I'm a huge fan of. You have to know yourself in order to put that best version of yourself out there. So who is that best version of me? It's somebody who doesn't let subconscious things hold them back anymore, that's for sure. And it's only through exploring those things that you can actually pursue that. I don't think you ever get to the ultimate best version of yourself, but I think it's a daily work in progress. How about you?
Yeah, I don't think I don't know. Maybe
Well, there is no perfect.
Some people
right?
do. Yeah.
No,
There's always, yes.
Yeah.
The flagpole, what do they say? The goalpost always moves.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is good. But how about me with what? What was that?
How about you with the idea of, being willing to do that self exploration, being willing to push the goalpost a little bit to continually, 1% better each day. How does that translate into helping your clients do exactly the same thing?
Oh, man.
Or maybe let me rephrase a little bit.
Oh, I had something, but okay.
Okay, go ahead. And then I'll rephrase.
I was just going to say, whenever I left radio 7 years ago and started a digital marketing company. And I knew that I had to create something on my own. And then while I had the digital marketing company, then I got certified in coaching. Mm-hmm. But as I noticed something was really missing in my life, something was missing. And I really had to go do this deep work, prayer and meditation, and just sitting with myself, contemplating what is missing here. And it was broadcasting. It was this thing that when I was 10 years old, I did a pretend radio show in my bedroom. If YouTube would have been around, I would have been doing that, right?
Nice.
But it wasn't, because we're old, right? I was old, so YouTube didn't exist yet. I shouldn't say we. I should have said me. I'm old.
No, it's okay. I think I have you beat. But yeah, if there was no digital film when I was 10 years old,
yeah, right. Yeah. You'd be in Africa right now taking pictures.
Yeah, probably.
So I really noticed like, wow, I'm not doing the thing that I loved doing since I was 10 years old. I love doing this thing. So I was like, I need to restart the podcast. I have to do it. But then I was like, I can't just do it. I can't just restart it because I had done it for 5 years while I was in radio, but it didn't really have a purpose. I'm like, this podcast needs to have a purpose. So what I created was the Unstuck movement. You've been a guest on there. And it's like these stories of breakthrough, these stories of getting unstuck because I felt very stuck at various points in my life. And the breakthrough that I found was everything. And what I uncovered from that was like, well, this is also, I need to take this into my coaching because I need to help people find the thing. Going back to this 10-year-old question, going back to this vision of like, what is the vision of your life? It's already in you. You don't need to search outside of it. You may have been searching outside of you your whole life for it. You don't need to. It's already in you. What is it and how do we bring it out? And and that might be, like you said about photography in Africa, but there could be an essence of that thing that you've carried over into what you do now. So one of the big things I love to help people realize is like, okay, there's an essence of this me that I need to bring out into the world. I need to bring this out and I need to uncover this. And this goes for life, somebody's personal life, but also for their business model also, because there could be something in their business that is going to transform everything. It's going to cause a massive breakthrough. And I'm just helping them see what that thing is, help them realize what that thing is. And if I can bring that to a client and see them have a breakthrough like that, I've been working with a chiropractor. And when I'm working with him, it's so cool because he is so unlike any other chiropractor I've ever been around in the fact that he'll do 60-minute sessions with people. Chiropractors don't do that. It's in and out. You go to a chiropractor, you're in there for 5 minutes and they're like, get the heck out of here. And they're bringing somebody else in. He sits down, he gives you stretches to do at home. He encourages you. He coaches you while he's a chiropractor for you also. Wow. And he loves to teach. So now we're working on him teaching, him going out and doing seminars and doing webinars and educating people because that's what he loves to do. So yeah, he's a great chiropractor, but he's also a coach and a teacher, and helping him see that and helping him see that and step into that is so exciting to watch. So that's how you do that. I love that.
Beautiful. I think there's really a magical thing there. I call it a talent stack. You know, that's part of his talent stack is the teaching piece. And by seeing that, you can really bring that out for him, which is going to do what? Increase his satisfaction, his joy for what he does, and his level of service.
And then his business is going to skyrocket because of it. Yes. Because he's in his zone of genius. I love the term zone of genius. There's this zone we have that we're naturally just like acclimated towards. And it's our strengths, right? If we feed those and foster those, man, the sky's the limit. Truly.
I can feel when it's happening. I don't know about you, but when it's happening for me, I can feel it. I know that the information I'm either providing or talking about or the question that's coming next is divinely, intuitively guided. Yeah. It's not something I learned in a book or in a course. It's me. It's part of me because of the work I've done on myself.
Yeah, exactly. And it's happening. So right now it's happening for me in this conversation because this is where I am supposed to be. And I know that I start to buzz. So I'm buzzing right now. I can it feels like I drank too much coffee is what it feels like.
Well, I love that feeling.
But not too much. Like it's when you drink too much, then my stomach starts to get a little upset.
Personally, I love that feeling. With my bucket of coffee. Well, I love one. It's rare to. I'm just going to say it. It's rare to have a man who is that in tune with the mind-body connection. This is what stood out about you, and I'm not realizing it until now, is the fact that you are so connected, mind, body, spirit, purpose type person. that is magnetizing. That is so attractive. Totally not hitting on you right now, by the way.
I know.
This is this
I know what
is
you mean.
this is why people want to talk to you. It's why people want to talk to me. It's like this. I'm working on a webinar right now called the Charisma Code. And
Mm.
what actually goes into having that energizing presence. And it's because you're connected to yourself, you know your purpose, you're living your purpose, you're doing the thing that you help other people do.
Yeah. Thank you. I received that,
You're
Suzanne.
welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So nice of you to say.
You're welcome. Yeah, that just kind of came to me like, oh, that's why. That's why I felt connected to you. Maybe that's why you felt connected to me and why we hit it off and why, there's something there in the future, right? Relationships are so intriguing to me in the online space. How you can tell that you're connected to somebody like that. And
it is really fascinating, right? Because we've never met in person.
yeah,
You don't have to actually meet in person. That's the thing I find so exciting about Zoom. I can't really tell over like if you're messaging somebody on Facebook. Like my wife and I were watching Catfish last night, which is such a hilariously stupid show. It's so dumb. And I feel bad for the people on there. Half of me feels like it's fake, and half of me is like, if it's fake, they're really good actors. I can't tell. But anyways, the point is that I could never like fall in love with somebody over Facebook Messenger or something. And these people fall in love over text. I'm just like, how does this happen? But but when you meet somebody online and you actually talk to them, I don't have to ever meet the person in person, which would be nice, but you can have just as much. And I tell people this all the time. You can have just as much of a bond and connection with somebody virtually than you can in person. I feel that way. Some people feel that's not possible, but I think it's totally possible.
I do too.
It would be better. It will increase in person, but it can be very strong.
Virtually. Yeah. And I think when I expanded, to working with clients virtually in this way, because my coaching practice was all in person when I started. And I think I had my first couple clients on Skype, before Zoom was a thing. And it felt weird to me. It was definitely something you had to get used to. Plus the connection wasn't as good as Zoom, and, the technology just wasn't as good. But it allowed me to have my first international client, and it was a woman from South Africa. And we immediately had this incredible connection. And that opened up a world of possibility for me as a coach, as a community leader. Oh, I don't have to stay in my little 100-mile bubble. I can expand. And that was really exciting back then.
That is, for me, it's everything, because I don't work with anybody in my area right now. Everybody's outside of my area. The closest person is like 40 minutes away. But everybody else is out in different states all over the place. You know what I mean? So and the pandemic, as there's a gift and a curse and everything. What a gift it was in the pandemic that this technology became such a forefront for everybody, and everybody was forced to learn how to use it, right? Because even if, say if Zoom was really, say if we had great quality, high speed internet, which we did in 2019, right? People were still so uncomfortable being on video calls that that's a big barrier to overcome. But the pandemic broke that barrier down completely.
Yeah. I always find it interesting. My husband, works remotely for a very large company, and every time I walk into his office and he's in a meeting, not a single person is on camera.
Oh, right.
And my question is always, how do you know the people that you work with? And he's like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, I'm like personally offended. Like, oh my God, it matters. It matters so much.
Yeah.
And it's just not part of their company culture to encourage that, which I find fascinating.
Doesn't seem like a good culture, but I could be wrong.
I could be wrong too, but it's fascinating to me that, you know, you could work with a team of people remotely and not ever see them.
Yeah. You would need to see at least every once in a while to get to know the person, right?
I think so.
Past that, like once I get to know somebody, like some of the people that I do coaching with, we don't turn our cameras on. And it's actually relieving because I don't have to stare at a screen. So it relaxes my eyes. And I feel like also, once you build that relationship with somebody, just talking, I sometimes have bigger breakthroughs in just chatting.
Agree.
And I don't know if this is, maybe I'm on the spectrum a little bit. I don't know. But whenever I'm having ideas, I don't look at people. Like whenever I'm talking to you, if I'm having an idea, I'll like look away. Like I don't look directly at somebody whenever I'm having a thought. So
I think that's why I like WhatsApp so much with my clients. The ability to send voice messages back and forth so I can hear their voice, so I can share ideas on the fly as they come to me.
Yeah.
And I notice when you turn off the other senses, that intuitive message for the person comes through so much more powerfully when you turn off the lights and the camera and look. I actually close my eyes sometimes when I'm sending a message just to block out all the other distraction.
It's interesting when you close your eyes, you do, I can like, I think better. You know, there's a podcaster, Lex Friedman. He's pretty famous. And when he's talking, he'll like say something with his eyes closed. And I'm like, that's what I should just start doing that too. Cause I feel like he has these amazing thoughts because his eyes are closed.
Like, you know how when you say, when you're really resonating with something somebody says, your eyes close immediately. Just natural reaction.
You know, when you take a really good bite of something, your eyes closed. Like, well, it's so good. Like, it's so good. I got to close my eyes.
That I just thought of a cheeseburger, but
I think of like a peanut butter cup.
Oh, yeah. I'm not a candy person. Interesting.
I've actually been fasting candy for a month, and it's been really good. Although I think like I'm detoxing sugar because my wife said my breath is not the best, which is another great thing for Zoom, that nobody can smell my breath right now, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it's very true. And I will pull a little wisdom from my 20-year career as a dental hygienist. I fully believe that's why I don't care for sugar. I never wanted a cavity. And knock on wood, I've never had one.
Wow.
And when your body is detoxing from sugar, you get a weird bacteria change in your digestive system, which actually makes your body more basic. So you're leaving the acidity inflammation stage, and otherwise known as ketosis, causing your breath to not be so great. And you might have a little extra body odor during that time as well.
Really? I haven't noticed the body odor. I should take a whiff.
Well, luckily we can't do that here on Zoom. That feature is not coming anytime soon.
The smell-o-vision. When's smell-o-vision coming into play?
No,
remember smell-o-vision? Like remember Married with Children? They had an episode like where you could like get something at a local store, and like when Al Bundy did something, you'd smell the thing. And that just popped in my head for whatever reason.
Someday there will be that aromatherapy kind of feature on TVs or Zoom or computer or whatever. And I'm not looking forward to it because
I always thought
it smells.
Yeah, it's not a good idea. Yeah. I always thought cars should have like built-in walkie-talkies so you can talk to the people who are next to you in the car. And I brought that idea up once. People were like, that's a terrible idea. I would not want to talk to the car next to me. I'm like,
lifelong dream. to have a digital screen either on the back window or on the top of the car that I could type messages to the other drivers.
Oh, typing message. That seems dangerous while driving, but I guess we're texting while driving.
But, that idea came to me before, our modern technology, so.
Yeah, but communication with people next to you, I feel like you would relate to humans more in cars next to you, because that's where we get road rage from. Everybody's your enemy because they can't drive and you can. It would break down that barrier, but then again, you'd probably hear a lot of things you don't want to hear.
Absolutely. It's reminding me of Jerry Seinfeld's show for a while, comedians in cars getting coffee or something. Yeah. It was really good. Good show. Yeah. All right, let's wrap this up, my friend.
Okay.
Because God knows where we'll end up.
I don't know where it's going. Yeah.
How can our listeners get in touch with you? Where can they find you?
The best place to do it is my website, leadimpacttransform.com. And if you're on Facebook, just Rob Z Wentz on Facebook or LinkedIn. You can DM me there if you want to just say hi.
Awesome. Well, I will have all your contact information in the show notes, and in the comments, on all of the platforms that we're streaming live, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And thank you so much for having this incredible conversation, from eudaimonology to sugar to bad breath to body odor to cars. And I just look forward to more conversations with you, and keep up the good work you're putting out into the world.
Thank you. Same to you, Suzanne. Thank you so much. This was wonderful.
You're welcome. Thank you for tuning in to another empowering episode of Unlock Your Way. I hope you found today's discussion inspiring and you're ready to take your business and personal growth to that next level. If you're feeling as fired up as I am and eager to unlock that full potential, I'm here to help you on your journey and provide that personalized guidance tailored to your unique goals and challenges. Simply book a one-on-one coaching call with me and we'll dive deep into your business aspirations and see how we could co-create a roadmap for your success. And whether you're striving to scale an enterprise or just getting started, I'm here to support you every step of the way. To schedule your coaching call, simply visit the website at unlockyourwaywithstk.com, click on the Book a Call button, and we'll turn your dreams into that reality. Subscribe and review on your favorite podcast platform and on YouTube. Plus, you can join over 800 entrepreneurs in the Idea Lab Facebook group. Let's make success as an entrepreneur happen together. Until next time, I'm STK. Keep dreaming big, stay focused, and most of all, have fun while you're doing it.